Hey everybody, welcome back to Rebootleggers. This is a comedy podcast where we reboot everything. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Owen.
I'm the other host, Frank Serra.
And here we are, fully into the Christmas season. We had a rousing success with our last week's Christmas episode, Home Stallone.
Home Stallone.
So I thought we'd keep that going and we'd hit up another classic Christmas movie and dive right into Rocky IV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a whole lot. We're just jumping right in. I don't have anything good for an intro bit.
Yeah, there's not a big scary Russian man punches a man to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rocky has to fight him back, but it's Christmas, and he has to win. If he wins Christmas, the fight, Santa will actually deliver all the presents. But if he loses, then all of Santa's presents, they go to the Soviet Union.
So you're just already diving straight into the reboot then, huh?
No, that's the actual base plot of the movie that we have to work with.
Is that? I think he.
Yeah.
I guess I have.
No, if you watch it again with the director's commentary, it completely changes.
I haven't
the movie.
seen this movie. I just know that he fights the Russian man on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And which is like a dick move to challenge somebody to a fight on Christmas Day. I mean,
yeah, like he at the point of Rocky IV, like I think he has kids.
He does.
He has at least one kid.
Yeah. I think it's like...
And like a wife.
Is that supposed to be like Russia's way of sticking it to America? Because Russia's like screwed.
Yeah, they don't celebrate Christmas because religion's legal.
Right. Yeah, and
only
religious
needs
people. Only religious
He needs
people.
to get all the steroids in his body so he can punch men to death.
Yeah, and that you can't do that on Jesus.
He just said before the fight starts, when they touch the gloves, he says he speaks in English. He says to Rocky in English, "I am not even going to play with the toys. I'm just going to crush them with my fists."
Oh, gee, what a mean Russian man. So yeah, only religious people celebrate Christmas, obviously, and so this is kind of the biggest slap in the face. Like, hey, you don't get to be at Christmas, and so Rocky's at this point like he's actually good at boxing now. Mm-hmm. Is he like a little retired? Is that because Ivan?
Yeah,
Drago,
the thing is like he's like famously undefeated, but like not really fighting anymore.
Right. Okay. So Ivan Drago challenges him to a fight, and he says no. So then Apollo Creed, aka Carl Weathers, fights him, and he kills Carl.
He kills the man with a big punch. He just punches him square in the noggin,
right in the dome,
dies.
and he just
dies.
Like, his head pops.
He dies from a punch. He dies.
And so what I'm reading is that it's apparently Rocky's fault because Rocky would have been the one to throw the towel in for Apollo, and Rocky doesn't throw in the towel.
But I think because Apollo says like, "Don't throw in the towel."
Yeah, but I assume Rocky deals with that guilt of I should have thrown in the towel because he was clearly
because then he says I have to punch the big man now.
I have to punch him. Does he just die there in the ring, or does he just like get punched real hard and then he dies?
No,
later?
Like he gets clocked so hard that he like dies and falls over.
Just dead right there, huh?
Like it's just like a really really big punch.
So here's boxing is so weird to me in like. We still get boxing movies made today, and like boxing matches are still some huge pay-per-view event, which I don't understand because it feels like culturally we've moved on. Like nobody actually cares about boxing except when suddenly they do because of one
the big punching man just clobbering.
Yeah, and it's just so weird to me that like
going.
You'd think it's gone, but it's actually not gone, and we still actually like watching two adults just beat the shit out of each other for fun.
So let's talk about how to bring the holiday spirit to this boxing match.
So the boxing match happens on Christmas. So,
and as we know, Santa's already involved.
Santa is apparently already involved from what you've told me. Santa. So if Rocky wins,
America gets Santa will deliver his presents like normal. But the Soviet Union doesn't get any of them because they don't respect Jesus.
Uh-huh.
But then if Ivan Drago punches out Rocky, then all of Santa's presents, they don't go to the Soviet Union, they go to Ivan Drago personally, and he's going to use his big fist to just crush them all.
Crush them.
All the toys.
Just punches them over and over. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is Santa how did Santa get imprisoned in this like contract? Like what is since when has Santa ever cared about the the
It's been a while. I think it has something to do with like the president calling in a favor or something. I don't really.
I mean, Santa is
I'd
notoriously
have to watch the movie again.
removed and does not care for the conflicts of man. Santa has always remained above. And so, like, has he been imprisoned?
I think that like Rocky's has been so good that I think Santa owed him one.
Uh-huh.
Because I think once Ivan Drago killed the man with the punch, he said like, I don't need to fight again. And then Rocky said like, I have a contract with Santa.
Okay. So here's a thing. So he's got a contract with Santa, wants to save the toys. So how do we reboot this? Well, so here's a thing we know. So what I don't like is that Santa is for some reason...
It's very ill-explained how he entered into this contract.
Right.
They really hand-wave it.
And so I think we need to fix that conflict a little bit. I don't like that Santa would ever agree, like, willingly, oh yeah, I'll just give...
He would never not give toys to good children.
Right, that's, like, Santa's thing. So I'm thinking maybe he gets caught in some sort of, like, Faustian deal with the Russians, maybe like a devil's trap, maybe they like say his name backwards and now they have power over him, just something. And so Drago just wants to beat Rocky, right? That's the whole...
His whole thing is just the of proving that the Soviet Union's science-based workouts are better than America's heart and soul-based workouts.
And so killing Carl Weathers isn't enough to get Rocky to fight him. He has to also hold American good boy and girl toys hostage.
Yeah, and he says like Santa will give all the toys to me, and I will smush them with my punches.
So here's a thing we know about Santa, right? Is that
he doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
He doesn't want to get his hands dirty, but also anyone can become Santa,
as the Santa Claus has shown us.
Yeah. So if we look at Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, if Santa is to die in your presence, or not even in your presence, just whoever first...
Well, you just got to pop on the coat.
You got to put the pants on.
If he dies anywhere,
the first person to put his pants on becomes Santa. I guess it's technically the coat. I think it says put on the coat, but he does put on the coat and pants.
He also puts on the pants. I think anyone that's putting on the coat will put on the pants.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, even though they're way too big.
It's weird to not.
It's weird to not.
It would be weird.
And so the other thing, so we know one, if Santa dies, first person to get his coat gets to be Santa.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the first movie, the first Santa Claus, jumping to Santa Claus for a second, when Tim Allen's son is told that he would make a good psychiatrist, he instead says, no, I think I'm going to go into the family business, as he watches Santa...
He wants to kill his father.
Fly away. Yeah, so either that means that, one, this child is a bloodthirsty murderer with full... Like, he fully intends on killing his own father and becoming Santa.
It's premeditated patricide at that point.
Or it could mean that there is yet another stipulation allowed in the Santa Claus that says that the title can be passed on or bequeathed or... it does. Actually, it does. Hold up.
Like a royal title.
You're gonna... This is for real. I'm actually remembering the wording of the clause when...
oh, no.
When Tim Allen is in the... in Santa's workshop and the elf is holding it under the microscope and he's showing him like the actual thing, and he says I remember specifically he says he fully accepts the duties and responsibilities of Santa Claus in perpetuity until such time that the wearer becomes unable to do so by either accident or design. So it does allow that if he may choose to... Now see, this is the wording. I feel like it says that the wearer becomes unable to do so either by accident or design. I feel like that's like... So the letter of that agreement says that... So
we're talking infantry, like Santa can shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah, that's what... So the letter of that agreement says that they must... The wearer... The current Santa can choose to no longer be Santa, but he has to render himself unable. But I imagine the spirit would be that the user can willingly
choose not to Santa mantle.
But
now here's something that's interesting. So Santa's presence, Santa's job is a magical construct. So when Santa stops becoming Santa, is he just like naked in the North Pole doing nothing now?
Well, I don't think I think he just goes back to. So they address this in the Santa Claus 2 and 3. Both movies involve Tim Allen losing his Santa powers. In the second one, he learns that he has to get married and have a Mrs. Claus, otherwise he'll stop being Santa. And like,
it's weird that they wait. It's weird that the magical Santa powers wait for a year and then tell him.
Oh, they don't
that.
wait for a year. They wait for like 10 years. It's like 10 years
what's
later.
The deal?
10 years later, he starts like progressively turning back into Tim Allen and not Santa, and it's because he hasn't gotten married. So
it's such a slow burn. Okay,
right? Yeah. So it turns out there's a few ways so it is possible to unbecome Santa. Now, what if Rocky don't want to fight Drago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Rocky doesn't. Maybe Rocky can't. Maybe it's like Rocky knows he'll lose.
He's rocked to the. So Ivan Drago still punches out Carl Weathers with the 5-finger death punch, and then but Rocky is kind of shaken, right? But here's the thing: is that Santa watches you, and he knows if you're naughty or nice. And he's up at the North Pole, and he's looking through his maniscope, his telescope for men, and he says that Ivan Drago is such a bad boy, and I wish that he was a child so I could punish him, but he's an adult man, so I can only watch.
Yeah. So here's where I was going with mine. Is I was thinking. Santa's in a bind, and for whatever reason, Rocky knows he can't ever beat Drago, but he's like, I can't just. What about the kids? And so then maybe Rocky discovers a loophole where he's like, well, what if I become the new Santa, and then the old contract that the binding on current Santa does not apply to me, and then I can deliver the toys.
Oh, he wants to deliver the toys himself.
Well, he doesn't necessarily want to, but he realizes like this is the only way to do it, and so
he realizes that he can,
and so
he performs the ritual that summons Santa and explains the situation.
I think Santa's being like, yeah, I guess Santa must be like, he's not like physically imprisoned, but yeah, so I think what has to happen is, I think what we do here is we follow the letter of this Santa Claus, where the wearer has to become unable to be Santa.
And while Santa is imprisoned by Ivan Drago, he is unable.
No, I think he is able. Like, Santa is still able. It's just the contract that they have made is that Santa is only allowed to deliver toys.
He's not literally restricted, but he's bound by the terms of the contract.
Right. And so here's what I'm thinking is that Rocky thinks the term specifically being that the wearer becomes unable by accident or design, not that the wearer chooses to give it up.
So Rocky, in order for Christmas to happen,
you're getting it.
Rocky has to punch Santa Claus until he's unable to deliver presents.
Rocky has to beat the shit out of Santa, but Santa can't just willingly lie down, I think. Like, he can choose to participate with the intent
I think the mantle of the claws forces Santa
has to defend himself. And so he can't just go in and beat the shit out of Santa. He has to challenge him to a formal boxing match. Winner gets to be Santa.
Okay, wait. I have an idea, and I know we'll see. Okay, wait, hold on. I have an idea. So they start fighting. Santa understands more than anything else. Rocky is a good boy, and so Santa says like, "I'll duke you, but I'm not gonna pull my punches, and I don't just have a bowl full of jelly. These are abs."
Oh, maybe that's okay. Yeah.
So then they're fighting, but they're doing that thing that happens in movies where, like, they're having a physical fight, but they also have time to keep talking to each other somehow.
Yeah.
But so they're talking, and is like Santa's like, oh ho, Rocky, you're so strong. Why don't you want to fight Ivan Drago? And then Rocky's like, I can't beat him. Why don't you just roll over? Let me deliver the presents. And then like they're fighting, and neither of them understands the other's viewpoint. Neither of them understands why the other person won't just do what has to be done.
Okay,
then while they're punching each other, they both yell at the same time,
Martha,
you don't know what it's like to be me.
Oh, God.
And then a big lightning bolt comes down from the sky.
Right as their fists connect with each other's faces.
Yes, just the same time. And then they both wake up in each other's bodies.
So So then they get what they want. Or do
well,
they?
sort of, but now Santa has to train to beat Ivan
Drago.
And Rocky has to figure out how to deliver presents. But the big fight and Christmas is tomorrow, so they have barely any time.
Hold up. Okay, I've got a whole new avenue for this. So first of all, I was thinking that maybe I don't know that this works now with this new direction we're taking, but I was imagining that like Santa contacts Rocky in secret, and because Rocky's like, I don't know what to do. There's no way out of this. Maybe it's like we got to come up with the reason why Rocky won't fight Drago. Like, there's got to be like an ironclad Rocky.
I think he's just crushed. Well, here's the thing. So, like, when you watch movies like Freaky Friday or Trading Places, stuff like that, the thing that always bugs me is how long they take just to get to the switch. And I don't want to, like, keep stretching it.
Well, okay, so here's...
Like, we're all here to watch them switch, right?
Yeah, so here's where I want to go with that. So, for whatever reason, Rocky's in a bind. He's like, I can't fight him. There's no way I can. Maybe Rocky, like, lost his hands or something. I don't know.
Well, I think then he can't...
No,
he can't have a fist fight with Santa Claus with no hands.
That's true. Maybe
I think he's just emotionally devastated at the loss of his best friend Carl Weathers.
It could be that.
Like, I think that plays.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I think that plays only a little bit because that's how every other Rocky movie. I mean, that's how the original works, right? Where he's like emotionally devastated and then he trains himself despite that and lets that fuel him so that he does beat Drago in the end. And in this version, he literally cannot beat Drago. Maybe Drago, like through Russian science, is immortal. And
he's a cyborg.
Yeah, maybe he's like literally undefeatable, and so now
like he can only be defeated by Christmas magic because he's evil science.
Right, and so now Rocky's just in a trap. It's basically just a trap to both kill Rocky and get all the children's presents. And so maybe Santa discreetly contacts Rocky, and he's like, "Hey, there's a way out of this. If we fight,
but you need to duke the slugs.
If we fight, yeah." And then, but then here's the thing: I like the body swap where maybe
Santa's all of a sudden like, I'm jacked, but now my Santa soul is in this body with Christmas magic.
So here's what I was thinking. Maybe so if we want to keep the body swap, maybe Drago is beatable, but Santa's the one who trains Rocky. Santa's like, look, man, maybe what if Santa's not in it at all up to this point, and it's seriously just regular Rocky 4. Drago kills Carl Weathers. Rocky's like, now I have to fight him. He
has no trainer.
And then Santa shows up to be his trainer.
You've always been a good boy, Rock, and you've never asked for anything. And my balance sheet is just going nuts, so I'm going to train you.
So then here's what I'm thinking. Rocky, so okay. Yes, okay. So Santa shows up to be his trainer. The Soviets find out that Santa is Rocky's trainer. They then perform the ritual that binds Santa into this contract to basically just further piss off Rocky. So then and Rocky and
so Santa's who is conflicted then, because he goes, I need to train you to win, and now we both have stake in the game.
That's perfect.
Here.
That's perfect because we can set it up as a contentious like mentor-mentee relationship where they don't really like each other, but they're like, we have to do this, but we also hate, like,
for all the kids' presents and not getting smushed by big hands.
Right. And so their fight, so Rocky's like, this is stupid. I don't even want to fight. I don't care about the kids. And Santa's like,
I don't need to get trained by no Christmas elf. And then Santa says like, I am not an elf. I'm a
right. Santa's like, don't you understand what's at stake? You need to do this. And then
he pulls out the list and he's like, and like the paper keeps going like all around the room, and it's just like filling up like big piles, and he's like, these are all the kids you're gonna let down after like 30 solid seconds of paper unfurling.
So then they do the face punch body swap, and now here's the thing.
Because they're doing the fight because it's training. And then they both yell, you don't understand what it's like to be me, and then their fists hit the face at the same time, then a big lightning bolt goes on the sky, and then they switch bodies and wake up.
Yes, so then they switch bodies, but here's the thing. The Santa magic is specific to body, not soul. So now Rocky inside Santa's body he still has the Santa magic, and he is the one who is now trapped in this devil's deal.
Corpulent.
Yeah, and then so
he doesn't have the muscles, but he has the magic.
Or he does, like, I mean, you said yourself Santa's jacked, and that's how they can fight.
Santa's jacked under the layers of fat. He's chucking boxes all day, every day.
So initially, right, in this new plot, we've decided Santa's trying to train Rocky to beat Drago. And now, Rocky is Santa, and Santa is Rocky. So maybe Santa's like, oh, I'll just go do it this way. I'll just beat him in your body. But, that doesn't work for some reason.
But he gets beaten to death by Ivan Drago in an Act 2 loss.
I don't think he should die. Well,
does Ivan Drago kill Santa in Rocky Balboa's body?
Okay, so now this just forked again for me, and I'm seeing two possible endings here, Frank. I'm seeing the timelines diverging. Okay, let me go through. We'll call this one Plotline A. Plotline A, Rocky and Santa are in different bodies, and somehow they realize that in this plot, all Santa wanted to do was train Rocky. Mm-hmm. Maybe, what about this? What if Drago is a good boy? What if Drago has been pushed into this by the Soviets and Drago doesn't actually want to do it? Oh. And so now Santa's like, well, I don't want to just go
He's more machine than man now and has to follow their orders.
Well, maybe he's a machine, or maybe it's just Santa's like, I don't want to go beat... maybe Santa is incapable.
I can't hurt good boys.
Santa can't hurt good boys.
Santa can't hurt good boys.
Santa cannot hurt good boys. And so...
He can't hurt good boys.
So he does try to go fight Drago as Rocky, but then he realizes, like,
and I think
can't.
he squares up, and then he goes to punch, and his fist doesn't move forward.
That's the twist. That's the mid-plot
He's like,
twist.
oh no.
Up to that point.
And then it's a close cut to his face, and he says, you're a good boy.
At that point, we don't know Drago's a good boy. So he learns he's a good boy, and then Drago looks at Rocky, and he goes, Santa? Like, he realizes that he's not Rocky. So then Santa comes up with the idea, okay, Rocky, I need to beat the shit out of you because you are bound by Santa rules. But if
Santa's body,
but if Rocky becomes unable to be Santa, then
is this all still Plotline A, or did I lose it somewhere?
This is all still Plotline A.
Okay.
Shit, I forgot what Plotline B was now. What did you say that made me think of the fork?
I don't know.
They body switch.
And then, because we thought of Santa not being able to punch good boys, and it ruined it all because it was so good.
Yeah, right before then, though, this other plotline I think is actually also very good.
Wait, I got it. Scott, I got it.
Okay, hit me.
So, let's revert to Plotline A.
I'm really upset
because of what's going to happen.
Plotline B, because I think it was good.
Santa gets in the ring, and Santa in Rocky's body gets in the ring, and he realizes he can't hurt Ivan Drago because Ivan Drago's a good boy. Uh-huh. But the problem is, all of this is happening. The rest of the world doesn't know this is happening. They're seeing Rocky unable to beat Ivan Drago. Mm-hmm. So here's what happens.
What happens?
I think that it's in between rounds. They go to the room or whatever. I don't know how actual real life boxing works, but in this movie they can do that. Mm-hmm. They go back to the room and are they're getting their water or whatever. And he goes, here's the problem. I can't hurt good boys, but there is someone I can hurt. Jack Frost.
Oh. What?
So they need to figure out how to get Jack Frost to switch bodies with Ivan Drago before the next round starts, which is probably in a couple hours, so that once Jack Frost is in Ivan Drago's body, Rocky in Santa's body can just beat the shit out of him.
I thought you were going to say Santa can't hurt himself, and so he beats the shit out of himself.
And so he needs to switch with Ivan Drago, and then Rocky needs to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I remembered. I remembered it.
Let's do that one.
Well, hang on. So I remember Plotline B. Plotline B, Santa dies in the ring.
Okay.
Rocky, racked with guilt, he's Rocky in Santa's body. Rocky has the Santa powers, but he's bound by the curse. So Rocky goes and he trains super hard again. He gets the will to win, even though we're all but Rocky, there's no way you can beat him. He's a cyborg or unbeatable or whatever. And maybe we merge the plot lines and Santa does an Obi-Wan or something where he's I can't hurt you, you're a good boy, and maybe Drago looks up with tears in his eyes and he says
I have no choice, and then he punches his head clean all the way around.
Except he has a way better line where he says something like, "Not as good as I should be," or something, and
and then he just punches his head all the way around.
Right. So then Rocky
360.
No, I think for my ending for plotline to work, Drago has to be evil. Drago is. Well, we can pick and choose what we like and stitch all these together because there's a lot happening in my brain right now. So
you're just firing them all.
Evil.
All right.
So,
finish plotline B.
Yeah. So plotline B. I'm gonna establish a common language right now. Santa Rocky is Rocky Balboa's body, Santa's soul. Rocky Santa is Rocky Balboa's soul in Santa's body.
It's soul first, body second.
Yes. Okay. So Rocky Santa then commits himself to training. We get the montage, the excellent music. We see Drago juicing up even more in his montage. They finally fight, and we're like, oh my gosh, is Rocky going to do it? Is Rocky actually going to win and come back in classic Rocky style? Rocky Santa holds his own for a while, but then it becomes clear, like he's dogging it. He's starting to get tired. He's not doing great. And then we see Drago wind up for his signature kill punch, and at the last second, Rocky just drops his guard and lets Drago kill him. At that exact moment, Rocky Santa's elf friends drop onto Drago with Santa's coat and put it on him. And now Drago has been imprisoned in the Santa Claus, and he's now Santa, and him and being Santa now compels him to be good, and so the curse is broken, or the binding is broken because it's a new Santa body.
So Rocky Santa is who takes the punch.
He dies.
His body has the Santa magic.
He lets Drago beat him, and he leaves himself open so that Drago will be fully
he
invested.
sheathes the blade in his body.
Yes, and then so Drago will be fully invested and focused on his punch and won't notice the tiny elf people
Santa
sneaking
coat
up behind
fluttering
him.
Down
exactly.
from above.
So then ultimately Santa's coat turns Drago into Santa, and Drago is compelled to perform Santa's duties, and he becomes the new Santa, delivering presents to all the good boys and girls.
Because, as everyone knows, Santa is not allowed to keep the presents and crush them with his giant fists.
Yeah, Santa, he's like, I win, I will, maybe he tries to crush them, and he can't.
Oh, dude, no, wait, I got it. You see, as the coat falls is when he throws both of his hands in the air for victory, but then the sleeves and the coat just fall right on.
Yes. That's perfect. Okay.
And then now he's wearing the big Santa coat.
Yep. And he
falls to his knees and he tries to take it off, but he can't because it's made of steel.
Yeah, and then oh man. So right before
so then Santa Rocky just gets off scot-free with a hot bod.
Yeah, or he's dead. I don't know.
or he also dies. Why not?
I think that he might also be dead. Because in Plotline B, he did die. In Plotline B, he died.
Right, he died already in the beginning.
So here's what...
Because he goes to fight Ivan Drago, and Ivan Drago death punches him.
So in Plotline B, also, the night before the fight, Rocky Santa goes and visits a lawyer, or just his lawyer friend comes over or something, and we don't see what they talk about. And he gets a will? We don't see what they talk about. Then...
Ooh.
After... Drago's he starts immediately turning into Santa, so in the Santa Claus, the original one, it's a progression over a year that he slowly turns into Santa, and they tell him so he puts it on Christmas Eve, and then they tell him, you have 1 year to decide, and if you don't do this, Christmas is dead forever. And he's like, I really don't think I believe in Santa and all this stuff. So he puts the coat on, the coat is put on upon him, and it's instant. He now is super huge, has a beard, looks like Santa. And he gets upset basically that this happened. He's like, wait, this isn't how this works. Why is this happening? And then one of his Russian Soviet handlers or something is like, this isn't how it was supposed to happen. And he's like, terminate the asset or something. And he shoots Drago, or he flips a switch and Drago gets electrocuted and falls to the floor. No matter what happens to him, it looks like he's dead, but then he immediately gets back up, and everyone's like, wait, how? And then the elves explain, and we see through a flashback that the lawyer that Rocky Santa was visiting, they were writing up a new Santa Claus, the terms of which are now Santa is immortal and must perform his duties in perpetuity with no option of relinquishing.
He closed the Santa loop.
He closes the Santa loop. So now Drago is forever, like, Santa is still good and kind and gives things to people, but he is a cursed...
But only because he has to.
Yes, he is a cursed Ivan Drago forced into Santa's duties.
So then he reads that and he says, no! And then we smash cut to Santa in Rocky's Rockin' Bod on a beach in Tahiti drinking a Mai Tai.
He's dead.
And he looks up at the sky and he looks up at the camera and he winks and he says, happy holidays.
So he didn't die.
Well, he died on screen, but now he's on the beach in Tahiti.
Okay, that's okay. So, what do we like? Plotline A, where they body swap and
I think so plotlines A and B both have the body swap.
Yeah,
the difference is whether right away Ivan Drago kills Santa in Rocky's body.
Plotline A is that Santa and Rocky still fight, only now Santa basically reclaims his body, right?
Yeah.
And plotline B is Rocky and Santa both die against Drago, and Drago is forever imprisoned in...
Is forever cursed, to be Santa.
Yeah.
Plotline B is a little more practical, I think.
It does have a little more meat to
but
it.
But I really, really like that Santa can't punch a good boy.
I think we could still include that. That could be in plotline B.
I mean, we can include it, but like if Ivan's not the good boy, where's the oof?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so what if... So we could still have Ivan be a good boy, but now just we rewrite it so it's a little less of a dark ending where it... Now Santa is still like a forever curse, but for Drago, it's actually now you're free from the Russians. You can go be the ultimate good boy.
Yeah. So Santa says like, I can't punch a good boy. Oh no. And then, so since it's plotline B, and Rocky, Santa still dies.
Yeah.
He says like, I can't punch a good boy, and then Ivan Drago says like I'll only be a good boy for 5 more seconds, and then just clocks his head all the way around.
Or he just says like, why only for 5 more seconds?
Because that's how long it takes to kill a man.
I think it's more that he's pained to do it. He's like, I'm not as good as I should be, and I'm sorry, or whatever. And he kills him.
Yeah, we can do
and
that.
So
way. Then we build up some of the angst for the redemption later down the road.
So throughout,
so he says
throughout this movie,
not as good as I should be, but he says it completely in Russian with no subtitles, and then it just clocks his head all the way around.
Yeah, and so what that means, too, is that Rocky's not a good boy, because Santa can beat the shit out of him while they're fighting.
Santa can beat the shit out of him.
But, so here's what we'll have to do. Throughout the movie, we need to kind of, like, establish Ivan's handlers as evil, right? Like, they're the real bad guys. And so then at the end, they try to kill him. They're like, this isn't how it's supposed to go, and they, like, shoot him or whatever, and then he stands up and he says, like, maybe he goes, I can't hurt a good boy, or maybe he's like looking at them and he goes, I can't hurt a good boy, and then they're like, they relax.
They go like,
they relax, and he goes, but you're not good, and then he raises his hand and incinerates them with lightning.
Yeah, I like that we were going. I was gonna say that he goes, bad boys get coal, and then hot coals fall onto their bodies,
or they just incinerate,
or they just lay it on fire,
or he just like looks at them and opens his mouth.
They lay it on fire and they become coal, and then he scoops it up.
Or maybe he looks at them and he opens his mouth in a voiceless scream, and his mouth and eyes start glowing, and then they just melt.
They just turn to ash, little piles of ash.
Either way, Drago uses Santa magic to destroy the good boys.
Yeah, the bad boys. He destroys the bad boys.
And then we explain the origin of the coal is actually that in the olden days, in the days of like Vikings and barbarians, when the world was primal and violent, Santa's job was to destroy evil. And he incinerated them so that they became coals. And as society became more civilized, he thankfully didn't have to do that anymore, and so instead he just left coal as a warning of, you know what I can do to you.
Yeah. Of like, keep it up and we'll see how hot you get.
So then we give this whole cool backstory of Santa being like this crazy.
Yeah, and it just launches into. I also want to like. It launches into like, no longer live action. Like, this is a cartoon animation with a different voice cast for a solid 20 minutes.
Just that really, maybe what we do.
This is essentially a tacked on short.
Or we could do that, or we could make it work a little better. Maybe when Rocky is at Santa's workshop and they're training, Santa tells him, like, you know, I didn't always used to be this jolly, friendly man. Or he says, you know, Santa didn't always used to be this way, right? Because Tim Allen's not the first Santa.
The Santa role.
He's like, you know, Santa didn't used to always be this way, right? And then he explains, like, you know, Santa used to murder people. And maybe he even says, like, we've been through so many iterations of Santa not having to kill anyone that I don't even think I can anymore. I think that power's lost to me.
I think the magic has changed.
I think the bad boy killing magic.
But Ivan Drago reclaims it because he's a true fit for Santa.
So maybe he's like, so why don't you just go incinerate all those evil overlords right now? And he's like, we've been through so many iterations of Santa being friendly and not having to do that that magic is lost to me. And then Drago gets it, and oh boy, Drago's the one.
And it's primal again. He is the original. He is the only living and true ancestor of the actual Kris Kringle.
Yeah, maybe we have him be like, he's now like,
but that's all at the very end.
He's brought balance to the Christmas magic, where now he can do both. He's like, I can give coal and I can not kill people, but I can also kill people. So don't.
But I can also kill the bad boys.
Don't be bad kids.
And then we can get really topical and we can say, like, next up, insert country from whatever the movie's getting made.
Yeah. What?
Like a country that we want to say is bad. We can have him look at the camera.
Oh, and he says, like, next stop, North Korea.
And say, like, next stop, Canada. And then we just have him record, like a list of every country and then just choose which one we want when the movie's coming out.
What if we, like, do a little bit of a wink and he's like, next stop, the American White House.
Yeah.
Zing.
Edgy. And we'll show it at like an international film festival.
Yeah. And then so is this a reboot of Rocky 4 or is this Santa Claus 4?
I think this is like the Rocky Claus, an original movie.
Santa Balboa.
The Santa
Claus 4.
The Stallone Claus.
Santa Claus 4 colon. So the Santa Claus movies, you have the Santa Claus 2, which might actually just be called the Santa Claus 2, but then the Santa Claus 3 is called the Escape Claus.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do the Santa Claus 4, the Stallone Claus.
The Balboa addendum.
The Balboa Accords.
The like what are things that what's it called when you alter a contract?
Amendment? How about just the Santa Claus 4? The real new Santa. Merry Punchmas. We just named the movie Merry Punchmas.
Merry Punchmas isn't bad. I want to find like
Fist Kringle.
Santa Claus 4 breach of contract.
I'm laughing at Fist Kringle.
Fist Kringle is good. I like the idea.
I like my own jokes.
I like the idea of it being like an alteration, like it's a new, like the New Deal.
Yeah, it's the Santa Claus 4, the New Deal. All right,
the New Deal.
Yeah, I like that.
Santa Claus. Yeah, I also like the Balboa stipulation or something like.
Yeah. Santa Claus 4, Balboa's Bill. How about Santa versus Rocky, the fight of the century?
Santa v. Rocky. Santa v. Rocky. So here's what we got to do, Frank. We need to make a Santa Claus 4 and then very quickly make a Santa Claus 5. So we can have the Santa Claus v.
I tell you what, I know what we're doing next week.
The Santa Claus 4?
The Santa Claus 4.
So this will be the Santa Claus 5, but we write it as...
Because it'll
be the Santa Claus v. Rocky. So it's both 5 and versus Rocky.
And the verses. Oh.
That's good.
Whew. Are we good?
I think we're good. It took us, that one was a bit of a more meandering path than we normally do, but I think we came out with a nice shiny piece of something.
Yeah, we pruned away a lot of things, and we kind of left the most pure version of our film.
Yeah, we saw the elephant in the marble, and we hacked away until the elephant came out.
Mm-hmm. And then it tooted at us
like a trumpet, not like its butt, like out of its
from the front hose.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We hope you had a good time. We hope you are excited as we are for this exciting new Rocky Santa Claus crossover. I mean, it's breathing new life into two new titles that'll be very, very good. Mm-hmm. As always, you can find us on Twitter at Rebootleggers. If you want to follow us there, you can even send us submission ideas or, just hang out with us. Also, if you enjoy the show, please take a moment and give us a rating or review on iTunes. That helps us out a whole lot with, just visibility and getting our show out there and spreading the word. Also, if you know anybody who you think might like the show, please share it with them. We would very much appreciate your support in this. So until next time, I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Serra.
Frank, what's our password for next week?
Our password for next week is ho ho pow.